What's up, guys? Welcome to Bitcoin Ordinals Banter. Today, we're going to be discussing how Bitcoin Ordinals Inscriptions actually created a new meta, avalanching to other blockchains. Bitcoin frogs breaking previous all-time highs, Bitmap being the #1 Bitcoin Ordinal market cap, with passing 4,570 BTC market cap, and a lot more. This show is on X and on YouTube. We'll be keeping track of both of the chats, but if you're on YouTube, we'll be able to see it easier and be able to filter it through. So get on Ninja Alerts YouTube if you're viewing this. This show is, of course, brought to you by Ninja Alerts, who just announced very soon that we're going to be doing our snapshot of our top 1,000 and, of course, finalizing our mint date. So stay tuned for that. It can be coming any day now. Without further ado, with all those topics being said today, how is the panel doing tonight? Well, welcome, Eli, Charlie, Witters. How are you guys doing tonight?
Well, what's good?
I'm vibing. I'm straight vibing. We're all talking prior to going live about all the things that are happening, all of our floor prices, and whether or not we should sell.
Yeah, same here. I've been riveting all week.
Yeah, I bet.
Riveting.
Yeah.
How many frogs you got, Charlie?
No. I own more than one frog. Shout out. There's a couple folks who onboarded me early because, but I didn't mint any. That's one thing. I did not mint a single frog. So I feel kind of dumb for doing that, but at least I didn't stay frogless for a long time.
Yo, we got Gary in here. I stayed frogless from the beginning until now. And what's up, Dan Anderson, Bebop? So I was frogless from the beginning until now. Just watched them dip all the way to 200 and, just watched them nearly touch 20 grand. So, but congrats to holders. I mean, that's huge, not just for the Bitcoin frog holders, but just for the Bitcoin Ordinals ecosystem.
Yeah, dude, the floor prices are up everywhere. The frogs get all the headlines, but everywhere you look, floor prices are up. That's awesome to see. There's a bunch of really good collections out there just absolutely killing it right now.
I sold my only frog at 0.04, so rock on. Well done to everyone who held. That's life. Actually, you can't beat yourself up about it. That's life. I didn't get to catch Witters in Miami, though, which was we kind of could have, and should have crossed paths, but we didn't. Miami was super fun. I know you chatted about it last week, but good to be back. Haven't been on the show in a bit. There is plenty happening. And yeah, there you go. There's a lot of the volume. What has been happening in your world, Charlie? How's Bitcoin mining and the rest?
Bitcoin mining is good. I keep saying this, but 2022 was terrible for Bitcoin mining. And the first part of 2023 was also terrible. Only recently did it actually get not terrible. And that's great because we have the Bitcoin halving coming up in April, where overnight mining revenue is cut in half because the Bitcoin issuance is cut in half. So that's a big event on the horizon. It'd be really cool to do a Bitcoin banter live stream during it. That's put that on the calendar.
Heck, that'd be awesome, man. Would love to do that.
So that's coming up. What's funny is I get more calls from miners every day, just asking about what's happening in the world of ordinals, because these people are not super plugged into it. So, and I'm just the first person they know. So I get all those inbound inquiries. I love to talk about it.
So how is it looking forward to the Bitcoin halving as a Bitcoin miner? Your expectations towards it. Also, we got Troy in the chat. Troy, feel free to jump in. I sent him the link. He is possibly going to join tonight.
Yeah. Well, the halving can be a little scary, and a lot of people ask, well, what's your strategy or plan for the halving? I mean, my strategy and plan for the halving as a miner myself, I got my own operations, was set up, a year or two ago by when we build our Bitcoin mine, we lock it in at the absolute lowest possible power rate imaginable that we can. And you typically try to build up cash so you can survive any kind of lean times in the future. And then this going forwards this time, there's actually some other kind of knobs you can twist. You can do what are called hash price derivatives, or what's called physically delivered hash rate. Luxor's got a couple products of these, which allow you to kind of hedge the before and after events. This is really the first time we've ever seen this happen in like the corporate, institutional, financialized scale in Bitcoin mining before. Remember, the last time we had a halving was 2020. That was before all the mining left China and went to the United States. So like the industry has changed a lot. So this halving is going to look very different than it has before. Yeah, that's your kind of packaged in. That's what it looks like.
And tell me, Charlie, like we're probably going to dive into it. I feel like I'm taking Chris's questions away here, but with like fee rates are up, so miners are getting, you know, quality fees per block if they mine them, which is great and exactly what Bitcoin needed. It's happened a lot earlier than we thought it would, and then it's also probably driven a lot of I don't want to say L2 because L2 is a widely used word, like innovation, perhaps like in other chains that want to build on top of or next to or underneath or wherever you want to be with Bitcoin. How have you what are you seeing with those trends, and how do you keep abreast of those things? What's the vibe there?
Yeah, fees aren't the story this time. You're right, and this is going to be the main narrative going into and after the halving is what are fees doing? So that right now 6.25 Bitcoin are created each block, and at the halving that drops to 3.125. If you look at the average fees per block the past week, or really the past, couple like month, it has been close to like 1 to 2 and sometimes 3 Bitcoin. We're like in a period where the what's called the fees per block may actually approach the block subsidy. That's huge. That like very much validates this idea that Bitcoin's security budget could actually develop into a more robust, sustainable thing. This has been a bit of an existential question. So I love to see it. I think this is going to be very, very interesting and iconic halving to experience.
And then one more from me because I'm curious. As a company, do you discuss the sustainability? When I say sustainability, I don't mean environmentally. I mean of these fee rates. Can you see it persisting? Do you think this is a new norm, or do we think that it's a flash in the pan? When I say flash in the pan, I don't think it's like going to just disappear overnight. Do we think it levels out a bit, or is this the new norm?
You asked really good questions, Eli. So I have 2 responses to this. One, we have done some very sophisticated like fee rate modeling going forwards. This is actual like more of a research product we sell in the Luxor research desk called Hash Rate Index. But my kind of like 2-liner about this is the new normal is more fee spike events. So it's not like flat fee rates, but rather I would expect kind of like we saw this month, like we saw in May, like we saw in February and March, like cooling off periods, and then like mania like pumps where fees go skyrocketing high. And I expect those to go on for a little bit longer, of these kind of like fee events. And those over time will get less and less dramatic. They'll get more, leveled out. And it could take 2, 3, 5, 10 years. But it's just like now we're seeing if you were to average the fees over the course of this year, it's much higher than it was in 2022 and 2021. And I just think it's gonna, these are the early. It's like the birth of a healthy fee market on Bitcoin.
I do want to welcome Troy to the chat. What's up, man? How's it going tonight? Welcome to this.
I'm good at. You know what? I'm here in Maryland. My mom and my brothers. With them, and I thought this was a Twitter space. Like, before I saw this, I was like, oh, it's going to be a Twitter space. I'm like, all right. I was like, Mom, I was going to watch that movie with you, but I got to do this thing. And then I just saw this link on my phone. I go, oh, what's that? Is that Trevor's thing? And I just clicked on it. I go, oh, let me just say hi. I was like, oh no, that's the space they wanted me on. So like, I just put, anyway, so I'm up to speed now. So
that's really funny. That's really fun.
Yeah, I was just like, what is it? Why? I was like, why is this great show happening? And then there's like this Twitter space happening from like Ninja Alert. I was confused. Well, I mean, I'm just like on call. We're all busy, and so it took me a second, but totally happy to be here. I love Restream. It looks cool. What's up, Witters?
Hi, darling.
You look great as usual. Eli, I didn't get to meet you.
We crossed paths like very briefly. I saw my main the main thing I saw you do was at the airport having a selfie whilst I was jumping in a taxi with Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, dude, the fact that you saw me there is incredible, and I'll tell you why. It has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but I got off the plane. I apparently I walked. I thought I was at the right baggage claim, and I was like, oh, there's Conan. And I was like, he was looking at me. I was like, oh, I'm not going to bother him. Although I do want to tell him the story because you know, Bill Hader was on his show, and I was on the show, and he was talking about me on the show, and I was like. I said, I'll get my bag first. I don't want to bother him. And so I was looking for my bag, and it was like 30 minutes. I was like, well, I guess my bag is, I guess I'll find it. So I talked to Conan, and then I was done. I told him I'm here for, Art Basel. And then I realized that I'm 30 gates away from my bag. Like, I'm not at the right baggage claim. So the fact that you saw me and that I saw him, like, it was just kind of like how I just joined the space today. It tells you how busy my mind is.
It was so funny because he was on my flight from LA to Miami, and I like couldn't remember his name. I'm like, I know that guy, and I didn't want to say anything to him because I was like, I didn't want to go off and be like, do I know you? Because that would just be like that horrendous thing.
That's the best kind of famous. That's the best kind of famous. Where everybody knows who you are, but they don't know why they should know you.
Yeah. It's been a while.
That's all. I can't believe we didn't run into each other. It's too much going on there.
There was.
Art Basel was like Marfa, because at Marfa in Texas, you can just do everything and you can do it together, or you can. It's just a sleepy town, and it's kind of contained and is in Art Basel. I think we still have a ways to go with because you have like the fine art, like physical world that's buying like millions of dollars worth of art. And then you have PFP collections on whether they're ETH, Sol, or Bitcoin, or say, and they're just different parties. And you're allowed to have parties. I mean, everybody's there for different reasons. But I think we're still early on how to sort of invite people to our ecosystem. Listen, I don't know how many people in fine art want to mint a Ninja, or they want to mint shit that I own or projects that I'm with, but it's about the people to me, So, but the fact that I get to meet you, Eli, and I have Australian partners, I hear your voice all the time in spaces. I hear them all the time in my calls with them. Part of me wants to be Australian because, I just love their attitude. They're just
We'll have you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Although I have family there, I have a lot of family there, so I have to visit. I have a lot of Turkish people in Sydney, so I don't know if you know that, but
there are, and in Melbourne. I'm in Melbourne, and we've got a similar. Fairly big Turkish population. Oh well, next time you're down, definitely do it. But speaking of fine art, there are fine artists in on this panel. Witters, is a fine artist. Yeah,
Witters wasn't joking when she says all she can do is like, if she's not like, after a conversation, she's just thinking about art. And when I saw her that night at the Cypherpunk house, she looked like, I told her, she looked like I was like, this feels like the Emmys. Like, you're very well dressed.
I mean, ditto, Troy. And what's amazing about that entire night, it's like that was the only thing that got me away from the wall. And right after I met Casey and Aaron, because that was like primo, like, and then my entire existence just dissolved. I went right back to the wall, and I painted until about like 6 a.m. That same night. I took off the dress. I took off all the make. I was like, I'm washing the shit off, and I'm going right back to work.
But like, I have to say, like, the year before that at NFT NYC or whatever, you had a spot. And I didn't go to visit it because it's like in Bushwick and everything's happening over here and whatever. But I'm like, this isn't your first time. You go to the big events and you're doing a wall. Like, you're there to just do shit there. And there's not many artists that are doing stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just like pretty astounding. And you're on spaces and you're active in chats. I just don't understand when the addiction to creating the art is actually happening, but you're actually doing it. And they're big walls too, So,
thank you. Yes, thank you. I'm trying super hard. That is something that I don't lack, is my effort.
No, definitely not. And hey, Chris, nice to meet you, man. Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, Troy, thanks for joining, man. The first time that I found your profile was back when we were doing the Ninja Alerts Allow list, and you're like one of the first videos that I came across for the pizza eating allow list competition, and that was just really awesome, man. And so I was thinking about we could actually play it here. I don't know if the whole panel's seen it.
Please.
Well, yeah, Chris, you know that it's like a part 2 of the Wizards, right? You know that there's like a thematic thing. Okay, I didn't know. Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Okay, so correction. The first time I saw you was the Wizards allow list because I remember you slipped in the bathtub. Which was that intentional or part of the skit originally?
Okay, so when I was in New York earlier this year, I was there for 2 months shooting a TV show, and I was staying at my friend's house in Forest Hills because the studio was a mile away, and he has a son there. And I'm like, well, I got to do a wizard thing, and so I'm like, I got to use this guy's house. I don't want to make it a big deal. It's like cold outside. It might be snowing. What can I do that'll cut across the grain amongst the awesome wizard showers that people are doing? I said, I'll just be funny and I'll slip. And then I'll just be mad that I had to do this as a grown man with silver hair, that I'm actually in this ecosystem called like Web3 and stuff like that. So that's how I did that. So I kind of timed it out, and I planned on slipping, but I only wanted to do it in one take. So I practiced and I go, okay, I'll do that. If I hurt myself, it's just for the glory of the thing. It'll add to the anger, and I'll just cut the tape. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. And then I wanted to continue that. And it wasn't until after, so when that TV show ended that week, right when it ended, NFT NYC started. So then I met Trevor, and we hung out till like 5 a.m. We were eating pizza, of all things, on the street somewhere in Soho. And we became good friends. He said he was a fan of Barry, and I was like, oh, I like this guy. He's cool. And then when Ninjas came out, I said, okay, I'm going to just kind of continue the story. So, with that, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one of my questions too, because you were so fast with that Ninja video and even the Wizard one. I was wanting to know if you were connected ahead of time with like Trevor or Udi, or I guess just like the whole like Bitcoin Ordinals ecosystem.
No, I do, like, I'm, I do know people in the space, like, by and large, but I feel like I'm just like, I got the information the same way. I'm just like, I do so much every day that I'm like, what can I do that's effective and short that'll cut across the grain, like I said. So that's like my bread and butter, right? If it was the only thing I was doing, I probably would have done something like hopping around on a broom and cutting that up, like that one kid who did that. That was genius. That one kid who just like was like in the air the whole time. I don't know.
I remember that.
I was just like, I'm not doing that. I just don't have the time to do that, and I probably wouldn't top that. So
people gave the Wizard videos and really the pizza videos a hard time, I feel like, from the outside, but like they kept that part of the market fun. Like, like just the timeline was lively, it was funny, it was creative.
Yeah. It was. It upped the game to get a whitelist and stuff like that. It's, and of course it was on the heels of Ordinals, and ever since that started back for me in January, I'm like, oh my God, and fast forward to the Cypherpunk house, like sitting there, like I didn't even introduce myself to Casey. And it wasn't because I was afraid. I just didn't want it to be inorganic. And I heard that maybe he doesn't like accolades and stuff like that. And I always say, I'm going to be in this space for a very long time. I'm going to be traveling around the world and the country every year. It'll happen. And so it's just like we're in the nest of a house of the guy that created this thing. He just wanted to put his art on, but yet we're iterating on it, and we're at like almost 50 million inscriptions and all these other tools and branches of protocols and layers that are happening is pretty astounding. It's kind of like it's like having like a CryptoPunks project, but times 1,000, infinity. I just think that's pretty special. So yeah. I just gave you like 5 monologues. I'm sorry.
No, it's like super special. And that night was just like you could touch fire, like all of the biggest brains, except for, I know, Charlie, we didn't get to see it, but
no, I sent my emissary. I sent 0.
I know. No, that's
Ico.
what I was about to say. We had 0.
So good to meet her.
That was our pillar for everything. But it absolutely, oh God, if we have to protect zero at all costs, because like
Why?
I cannot
perfect.
live without zero.
No, none of us can. No. Me, Cypher, and Lolo would all have fallen prey to our worst
Yeah.
vices by now. No, zero is the glue that holds us together. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
I mean, they're actually on the other side of the wall back there. So I don't know if a lot of people know, like we're neighbors. So
oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah,
Wait, are you allowed to say where you're at right? I mean, not
yeah, we're doxed.
address.
We were in Oklahoma, northeast Oklahoma.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. We have actually built quite an Ordinals mafia in the Northeast, in a very unassuming part of the U.S. Yeah, some of the heavy lifting data analysts in the ecosystem are here. I don't know if they want to be named, but as far as the prominent folks, there's me, Sai. My wife runs all the expert support. Zero. You may know I call him my Mandarin whisperer, my Chinese community whisperer. Soon, he's famous. He comes to all of our local Bitcoin meetups. So
I asked
yeah,
Zero. We took a lot of us were traveling to South Beach and fucking Wynwood, and we took a 5-6 person minivan cab ride to the Cypherpunk house, and Zero was in the car, and Steve Cubes was in there, and a couple of others. And what was the point? I said, well, where's your husband? Where's Cypher? He goes, oh, he's in Oklahoma.
yeah.
A very high level meeting. I said, oh shit. Okay. I said, okay, all right. And,
yeah, Sai and I we work for Luxor, and Luxor is it's an interesting kind of world we live in, where we have to wear the suits and write the emails, but also get down and dirty with the degens. It's a little bit of both worlds. I love it. I've always been this way, but it's a kind of a new environment. The world of professional mining services, with having to talk about like the very speculative nature and cultural world of NFTs. Yeah, so I love it. I mean, we're like a SEAL Team 6 of the professionals who also get degenerate.
So Zero was telling me it was such a pleasure to meet her in Miami. She was actually in the top 1 people, honestly, that apart from Witters, who I wanted to meet. And she mentioned that, you call it a SEAL Team 6, but I've just heard essentially it's just like a D&D club.
Oh, yeah. We've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for years together.
Yeah. That's how it started.
What's funny is, yeah. Well, so I mean, dude, like a lot of people don't know. I feel like I love telling the story. Basically, I was free in January, so I started looking around this Discord, which was this associated with this podcast that I like called Hell Money. And so I started hanging out with Casey and a couple other folks who were about to release this Ordinals client, and I was really into the numerology of it. But then I was the only person who understood how to use Discord among all of them. So they kind of deputized me in charge of running this now chaotic community. And so then in turn just called all my friends, guys, the shit's going too crazy. There's 20,000 people on this thing. I need you to hop on and figure this shit out. So I hit up Sai, and Sai is probably the smartest person I know. Zero's one of the most insightful people I know. And then my wife is one of the most very good optimizer people I know. So between the 4 of us and then our greater group of friends, we've been able to gain a foothold on the ecosystem.
You're the weak link. No,
I am the weak link. I'm the talking head. I don't actually know anything. Nothing's inside here. I just condense all the stuff they tell me. Yeah.
No, you know what? It's funny, Charlie. I don't think that at all. I know we're just joking, but so when I went to Amsterdam and I'm at the conference, I'm I see this guy talking. It's Cypher, and I didn't know that at first. I go, man, this guy just looks like he can just debate anything.
Yeah,
and I love that. And we have a debate show every week in Venice. That's aside from our own Ordinal show. We've just been debating for 2 years, top artists, top developers, and it's just about debate. No one's shilling. It's just what's the discussion at hand. And I was like, this guy's great. And then I'm in a store somewhere, and I see this girl in a wheelchair, and she's like, hey, are you Troy? And I'm like, what's up? She's like, I love Barry. I go, okay, in Amsterdam. I'm like, who's this? And there's this guy, and I don't put two and two together. But he's like, hey, do you want some pins? And she's like, you want some pins? And I was
The
like,
two of
yeah.
them crack me up. Yeah.
I love meeting people before I know who they are, because like that's the real shit, right?
That's
like,
the thing. That's the thing about Web3 is like everybody's got a PFP, so there's like everybody's got two personalities. It's like not two personalities, but like you have two identities. You have your IRL thing and your online persona, and Web3 is about kind of linking the two, but also then it's like code switching. It's like I like to say this. I have to remember 3 names for everybody. I have to remember their Twitter handle, their Discord handle, and their real name. Like it's crazy. It's like a full-time job. So you may have 100 friends, but it's like I will have
that's
like
almost
3
better.
in Web3.
That those 3 things is like better than like ledger security, right?
Yeah,
it's, like,
it's the ultimate social like seed phrase reconstruction. Yeah, whatever that. Yeah. Hey, I actually have to hop to a different show thing, guys, but it's great chatting with you. Peace.
All right, you got it, man. Take care.
Thanks, Charlie, as always, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Dude, let's invite some people here. I tried to invite Chad here. It's like, dude, get on the show with me. Let's get it going. I don't know.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome to have Chad here.
Okay, he said he's heading to the gym right now. Damn it. He said he's been he's like he is after Miami. He's just been.
We had a call yesterday and he was at the gym, so he's hitting the gym. Go, Chad.
All right, I'm gonna. Can I just throw this into that BTC? I don't know. Is it stupid to get some people in here, or is that too heavy? I don't know.
Yeah, if you want, either way. I mean, we have plenty of questions and topics, but if you want somebody in here, you can bring them in if you want.
We're not good enough. Witters, clearly you and I are not like enough.
I know. When Troy enters the chat, when Troy enters the chat, there is nothing else.
No. It's I'm inviting because it isn't boring.
I'm kidding.
I understand, darling. Darling, no. You're the king of Suck Balls Mountain.
Yeah, Trevor said you're the king of Suck Balls Mountain. What kind of context do we need for that?
So on Barry, so the King of Suckballs Mountain is a line that I improvise, which is the most famous line in the show Barry, which is a show that he loves that stars Bill Hader, and I'm in it for 2 seasons, and I got nominated for 2 SAG awards for it.
That's awesome.
And and so he loves the show, and I love him, and he gets a kick out of it, and so
Get your applause there. I don't know if we can hear it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Chad. So do you run the show with them, or were you just featured in a recent episode? I saw. What was it? You, Chad, and Butoshi, or
yeah. So Began Bot, who's a programmer and an incredible content creator, and we have an AI cabal out in Venice. Like every Sunday, we meet some of the smartest brains. We're just like learning and developing stuff. And on Thursdays, we have a meetup that we meet up casually, and then around 4, and then around 7 o'clock, we do a live show. And there's floating mics, about 50 to 100 people, and 6 people on the panel. And we just debate about art, the news, what's going on, and stuff like that. Music, whatever the topic is. There's like several topics. And then after that, we party. It's like SNL. When it's over, we just stay behind for about 30 minutes, and then we go get pizza, and then we go to this bar that it's our own, like they allow us to have the back. It's beautiful. It's like on Abbot Kinney, which is really nice. It has the backyard and whatever. And it's just like they have the place for us. And so it's like the best part of my week is Thursdays in Venice, because
that sounds amazing. What the heck?
Oh, dude.
No, I'm flying out for this.
Oh, you're so like Eli or Chris or Witters. If you're there, you're not. I don't want you to just be in the audience. Like you'll be on the panel. That's what's going to happen. Like obviously come, but if you're over in LA, so that's definitely the offer there. And so Began one night about 2 months ago at the party, and Chad had already left. And Chad, he's from OC, but like I introduced him to the IRL community. He's like his favorite thing, and he just has met everybody, and he's just so calm, and he's, you guys have met him. He's just very sweet guy, and he just wants to be a champion, and he's learning. He's very moldable, but also developing at the same time. Just like Butoshi. Like Butoshi he has no ego. I call him the young Frank V Gods, although Frank is getting a lot of flack and not holding up the ship right. But
let's not make comparisons.
Yeah, so sorry about the comparison. So So Began says, "Hey man, I want to produce the shit out of an ordinal show, and I don't want to be on it. I just want to produce the shit out of it. Do you want to do it with Chad?" I said, sure. I just have to ask him. Let me call him the next day. I called him and he was like, down. So that's how it started. And then me and Chad just did one, and Began tricked us thinking that we were just going to do a practice taping, and he left it on live, and it was an hour long. And I was like, so he tricked us. And that first one was a live one. And then we started doing it every week, and we started getting serious about it. And, you know, it forces us to do our research and keep it fun and entertaining so people can know that, I mean, because a lot of things in our space are very technical, but we're also fun people, like all of us here, you know. So people need to see, like, why do these people keep coming back to a space? Why do they keep meeting up every week? Why are they flying to Amsterdam? Why are they going and wearing a wizard's costume? What are they doing? They must be crazy, but yet they never leave the space, kind of thing, you know? So it's just to like get us out there. And like, I don't need a TV show. I'm already on a bunch of TV shows. I just love this culture a lot more than Hollywood, because when I'm on a show for an hour, like right now, Hollywood doesn't see me that way. When I go in for an audition, they're seeing the sliver of what they need for that role. And I've been doing that for 32 years. So I'm just like really into Web3 and obviously Ordinals. And I just want to keep growing with that. So that's what we've been doing. And I won't be doing the show for the next 2 weeks because I'm here in Maryland. And Jen is going to be stepping in, which is good. I always, like, men in this space, I've worked with a lot of men, like working on scripts and writing lore and developing animation and stuff like that. They never think about like female characters. They're not trying not to. They just don't think about it. And there's a lot of men in the space. So like anytime we have a woman in our show or whatever is just always good. I mean, like,
I love Jen. She has been a staple for, I mean, she's just been in the space for so damn long that like she truly gets it. And she has been doing so much with just like on the back end. So I'm so glad that she's taking that position. But like Hell Money and like Ordinals Are Dead, those are my two that I get so excited to like I mean, the different things that happen within spaces, but those are the two that I actually get to see your faces, and I get to see like how you're interacting and like your emotions and everything that you're talking about. So those are my main two that like I gravitate towards, and you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. I mean, listen, it's not impervious to any like judgment or any like help. Like, we're always like, not everybody's going to like what you're doing, and not everybody's going to, but that's not what it's about. Like, we got to keep going. All of us, we got to keep going forward, man. But yeah, let's keep it going. Well, I'm so excited to be here. I told my mom I was going to be on another Twitter space. She was like, "What is that?"
Well, you're kind of on a Twitter space. We are live on Twitter right now, so it's
I guess so. No, but I'm excited because
video.
Oh, and also, Trevor should know this because he's probably listening. When we did our first show at 4:00 in Venice, after the show we realized that Trevor was doing his whatever he was doing at the same time. Like, fuck, this is the only time that works for us. And I was like, man, I hope he doesn't think that we're trying to time this so we can gain traffic and stuff like that. So, because I want to watch his show, and I hate when people show at the same time. So, but we stuck to the same time because that's what it works for everybody, and it's on the same production day on Thursday.
It's hard to find time slots for real.
Yeah,
and also Trevor stole all the good times, and particularly in Australia, it's like my 9 a.m. and 9:30ish a.m. when he starts, and that's when I like need to take calls. So sometimes it doesn't work. But yeah, that's life in Web3. The weeks go so quickly, and there's this show and that show. You can only do what you can do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I actually haven't been able to catch the show yet. I really need to. It's just between this and then I keep up with the Ordinal show and then work and all that. But like, it just looks so eye-catching because of just the background, and then you're all sitting in the same area, so that's not common. A lot of times you see it more like this, to where obviously we don't all live in the same place, so you're kind of that. So it's just eye-catching.
There are, Chris. By the way, Chris, where are you at right now in the world?
I'm Louisiana and based in Louisiana.
Okay, cool. For some reason, I felt like a New York vibe. Although you have a Southern accent, you look like a kid I'd see, person I'd see in New York. We have about like 13 cameras or 15, and it's just we got like 7 people working on, and they've already had the engine oiled over the past few years. They're like content creators and stuff like that, and we just want to do a bunch of shows and stuff like that. But what was the important thing I wanted to say? Yeah, the AI stuff. We're AI green screens. It's just like they're always just trying to like just keep it going and stuff. And I mean, next year, in Miami, when I went to like Trippy Labs one night, it was the last night I think I was there. I was like, man, it was so good to be with like Chad and some other smart people, like the people that are in our space at a party, not talking about Web3, but also just being lucky to be who we are. And then one day, maybe that Trippy Labs party will just be a mix of men and women that are all in Web3. Like, I don't know when that'll happen, but that's what I was like. I like that idea, I mean, what's going on in Australia, Eli? Like, what's the scene like there?
Well, it's growing because I'm here. Sanj from Femojis is here. Zard, who did Wizzy, is here. Like the scene in, and there's like a gallery in Melbourne called Oshi Gallery, which is they're like one of probably the best digital art NFT ordinal sort of based galleries in Australia, and I'm getting quite close with them. The scene here is actually quite big because pre-ordinals, obviously, like one of the biggest collections on ETH, Deadfellas, in terms of like brand and IP. Like Betty, who's the founder of Deadfellas with Psych, I think was originally from Sydney. Now she's living in Queensland. She spent a little bit of time in the States, so it's quite a growing scene. We have like an interesting, like the government has an interesting take on crypto. It's kind of like crypto friendly, but also kind of strict on crypto when it comes to tax and whatnot as well. But no, like there's actually a lot happening down here, and there's pockets of people, and there's a lot of people in Melbourne people who have been like, hey, I'm actually in Melbourne. So yeah, I think that Australia is always, naturally just given due to our smaller population and whatnot, but like always hot on the heels of those things. And particularly in Melbourne, it's very, I don't know if you've been to Melbourne, but very like arts and culture. It's essentially the art and culture capital of Australia. Sydney, Canberra's the capital city, but Sydney's obviously like more the touristy, well known for like the tourist icons and whatnot and beaches. But yeah, there's a lot happening here, and particularly given that like Femoji's now like quite a big brand and collection. I've got my own collection, but obviously working at Gamma, and Wizzy with Zard, and there's others. I know I'm forgetting one. Yeah, it's picking up. It's exciting, and I think we are all gonna get together because a few of us were like, hey, we're in Melbourne, or like Dazza who worked with BitGod Chad at Quadrillion, and helps out at Taproot Wizards. Like he's in Sydney, so yeah, there's a few of us around.
Yeah, no.
So you'll have to come out.
I was talking to Ordlord, my partner, and Maisie. They're both Australian from
yeah, that's right.
And I was like, guys, like I have family there. I'm an Ordinal MFer, Web3 MFer. Like are there any like big meetups? Because we're all flying around the country now. Like people are going to Asia. People are going to some of y'all just came back from Taiwan, right? Like,
yeah,
Nakib was there. Danny was there. Domo was there. Casey was there, right? Like that's huge, right? So I don't think Australia is just as far, if not a little further, but it's
a touch. Yeah, I think Asia is a great sort of middle ground. I think it will eventually happen here, and I think that there will be something. I'd love to think that there will be something a bit bigger. We've had some sort of smaller events already in Melbourne at Oshi Gallery, but yeah, who knows? Be great to figure something out. As things like the conference that we co-hosted with Inscribing Atlantis in Miami, at Gamma, takes a lot of planning and a lot of money and lots of things to kind of do. But yeah, I think I can't see why it wouldn't happen. Like we just had I didn't go because I can't remember, something with work. Like the crypto convention, the Australian crypto convention was just in Melbourne, and that had a huge turnout and had some, pretty big keynote speakers. So I think as this movement starts to get bigger and starts to spread, naturally it's going to end up here. And like we said, it's already in Asia. Singapore, I think, has gigantic
For sure,
crypto
yeah.
conferences. So yeah, it's only a stone's throw. 8 and a bit more hours on the plane from those countries.
Yeah,
But
for
us,
sure.
that's not that far. It's pretty funny when I flew to LA. It's like 15 hours, and I'm like, it's not too bad, 15 hours. And people are like, what? 15 hours is a long way, but you just get used to it when you live in I guess, a bit more of an isolated part of the world. But it's definitely growing, and given the for lack of a better word, like sort of like strength of who is part of Ordinals and is from Australia, I can't imagine why there wouldn't be something big here.
Oh yeah, if there was a
soon.
if there was a thing there Ordinal related, I would definitely go there and make my trip. And Chris, I want to ask you, like what's the rest of the format? I know we're getting along here, and I wanted to touch on Witter's piece that she did in Miami. Like, it just fucking pops out. Is that stay here all year? Is that like etched on the wall forever? Is that like down? Is it just up? What goes on there? And
yeah. So that is my forever wall. I don't know if you know Malik. He a mutant ape.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm not friends. I mean, yeah, I know who that is. He's a lawyer, right?
He actually made the connection, and I don't know if you've had Fireman Derek's cakes, but they are amazing. The bakery to go to, and I'm not shilling that because that is who has my forever wall. But Fireman Derek has legitimately the best like cakes, ice cream, everything that's in Miami, and that is his warehouse that I painted on. And I called up, I gave Derek absolutely no warning because I was
I'm sorry to interrupt. Do we have any images so we can kind of look at it while we're talking about it?
Yeah. So if you go to my Twitter page,
okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, it should be like, I think I posted like yesterday or the day before. But yeah, so it's wild. He was I initially, because like the first time, okay, let me back up. Whenever I had minted my ETH collection, I had done 2 on each side, and I didn't have enough time to fill the middle. And because I'm burning the ETH pieces for the Ordinal collection, I was like, this is perfect. And I'm going to give Derek absolutely no notice. And I'd actually already planned the scissor lift. I think we have a little bit of an echo.
I just realized while I share screen, it's an echo. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine. So then I was like, I'm coming. Is that cool? And this is what I'm gonna do. And I don't know. Most people, I'm sure, have never like seen Fireman Derek or know who he is. He's like this massive, like the statue that I did is like a rough drawing of like what Fireman Derek actually looks like. Like, my scissor lift went off into the gravel. He picked it up barehanded, got it out. Like, homie's built like a brick shit house. I'm not even trying to front. And I showed him what I was gonna do, and he was like, absolutely. Like, there was no question like whatsoever. And showed up, did it in 6 days, wanted to paint with my friends, like kind of onboard people into like spray painting, graffiti, all of the things that is just encompassed my entire life. And everyone came out, even like I won't disclose who came and bombed it, but another prominent figure in the space. And it was such a collection of love, like all the hands that went into painting the underlayer. Like, what you see is all my hand in this photo, but if you really zoom in and see the because I added the paint with water over like all of our fun that we had for the first 3 days, right? and it all just created an experience, and that's what I want to do from now on. I want to go to different places that my people are like my crypto people, right? Like my Bitcoin people. Like I'm chain agnostic, so I want to welcome anyone and onboard anyone that I can into spray painting or ordinals at any conjecture that I can. So thank you so much for
Hey, Witters.
that.
Witters, that it's gorgeous, and I didn't get to see it in person, but tell me, like, it's quite you see lots of different styles in street art. That's as fine art as I've seen street art get. Is that hard to create? How do you do it at such scale?
That is a really good question, because it's super easy when all your friends come and they do the under, like a lot of street artists have like a doodle layer that they have underneath. And that's how they map out their actual design. And it just makes it way more fun and more, I guess, just like participant oriented. But from that, I had a vision to just kind of like, I am forging my path. Ordinals are forging their own path in Bitcoin. It is like self-sovereignty. It is, it's like a fuck you to just fiat in general. And I want to include all of those, like the lithographic aspects of fiat, but then also put Satoshi's first publication of the Bitcoin white paper. I wanted to include all of those things because like now I'm on the tour, like I'm on the golf cart tour. Let's go. And like people are coming to see that, and they're getting onboarded, in my opinion, in the right way. They're seeing the white paper first. If this is the very first Bitcoin mural, to my knowledge, it is, or like the first ordinal mural. To my knowledge, it is, and I've tried my best to do my best research, but let's negate that fact. If that's the first thing that they're experiencing on their art tour, just to see, and then they look up and like see the Bitcoin white paper in that true form, I think that everyone should be fed information of Bitcoin. Like the creator's intentions, the self-sovereignty, the deliciousness that is Bitcoin. You can't stray from the white paper in any other way. So that was my homage to not only Satoshi, but everybody else that's participating in not only Bitcoin, but ordinals, because it's so funny. Like the maxis and the ordinals, like they're constantly, like batting against one another. But I married the two because of like what the mural represents, and the juxtaposition and everything that went into the mural is like, it's very well thought out. It's just going to take some time to explain it, because whenever you're watching paint dry, that's the only thing you can think about. It's like how much it means to you.
Speaking of the paint, you see the right lamp on the wall. Is that is that painted shadow, or is that real like sun shadow?
So the on the pedestal.
No, just like see where the sky meets the top of the wall.
Oh yeah. No, that's actual real shadow. That's
really
real shadow.
I was going to say that, because the lighting in general of the, because like when you see really great art, when the artist like puts shadow, and I'm not just talking about that piece. I was just curious if that was actually painted shadow or not. That the lighting on it, in the direction of the depth.
Damn, actually, Troy, that would have been that would have been a really good, because I did timestamp at the end where like Satoshi, and if I would have sundialed the actual shadow of the sun onto the mural, like that would have been a whole nother fucking level.
Oh,
So
that's so cool, man.
I can always go back. I can always go
Maybe
back.
like a little QR code on like underneath it that like people scan it and they can get the rundown that you just gave us.
Right, I know. No, that's coming. That
That'd be
is
so cool.
in the works right now. I had no time. I have a baby. I had to get back. But
Wait,
it's all
you have a-
happening.
I get it.
Didn't even
Completely.
know you had a child. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Troy,
Um,
we got 10 minutes left. I do kind of want to get to know you a little bit. I thought maybe we could play your pizza video and then just maybe ask you a few questions. Not take away from Witters at all, because that's phenomenal, and I actually didn't know that, and that's really insightful. So that's exciting.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, we just I'm gonna play your video real quick,
Okay, cool.
and then I got just a few questions. We don't have to
I
go
haven't
through
seen
all
it
of them.
forever. I think I just posted it and I didn't look at it again.
Here, let me get the video back up, and I'll have to mute when it goes live. Let me know if there's an echo.
That's it. I'm gonna eat this fucking thing.
Holy fucking fuck! Ah! I got a fucking wet pizza! I'm done with these fucking giveaways!
Bing bong, I'm a ninja.
I love it so much.
That was so good.
Full commitment to getting the pizza wet too. Like, it wasn't even like a kind of like, how you hold it way up here or whatever. It's just like, I'm just gonna fall with it.
I said, this pizza's going to be wet. I'm not going to do this more. I got to mop the floor, and then I'm done, and I'm going to post it. And then, yeah, I appreciate that. I'm very embarrassed, though.
What?
I'm facing people.
I
Well,
love it.
You don't get embarrassed. That's
Yeah.
I loved it as well. I remember when you did it, and I was like, when you did the fall, there was honestly like a high risk of injury. I love that you committed to it.
Yeah, I kind of size it. I go, dude, okay, this is like a little pool. I'll just fall. If I hit my head, it's going to work for the glory of the show, like the show of the tape, right? Because if it didn't happen on camera, it didn't happen, kind of thing. And this comes from just knowing, being an actor for so long, and just but yeah, dude, listen, I feel like a kid. If I have to do more of those kinds of things, I'll do them, because I'm no better than anybody else who's trying to vie for a spot on a project. I did it because it's Trevor. I did it because so he's a VC. He does the Ordinal show. He's not going anywhere. Meaning, in a positive sense, he's not going anywhere, and he's growing the space, and he's just always there. So like, what's not? And he's got ninja alerts. He's got the Discord, the alpha. He likes me as a person. Why wouldn't I do this kind of thing? So
Very well said. I'm super bullish on Trevor, and I work for him, so that tells you, like,
when I saw him in Amsterdam, and I thought he had, I forget what he looked like. I don't know if he was bald or if he had hair, but when I saw him in Amsterdam, I was like, dude, I said this on our own show. I said, I can cut bread with your hair. It just looks so good. You look like a UFC fighter. Like, he just looks tight. What's his background? He just looks like a tight.
He's just a dapper dude, man. I don't know. I ask him that pretty much every time I see him. He rivals us, Troy, in best dress.
I think he came out of the womb like VC ready, like in a suit, ready to shake some hands.
I actually didn't even know he was. I just I meet people to meet people. I didn't even I don't really dig in, but I didn't know that he was a VC until like after I met, and then I saw him in Miami and his beautiful wife at the Gamma party the second night by the pool or whatever like that. And I was just like, man, I was like, you have a really nice, I said, y'all gonna have kids? I'll get, what's going on? Y'all gonna have kids? 'Cause you're gonna look really, really hot. But yeah, dude.
She was lovely, wasn't she? I think it's fiance still, so no pressure.
Oh,
Trevor.
sorry, Trevor. She's stunning, dude. Well, he's not.
Yeah.
He's
I
no
mean,
schluck,
put a
too.
ring on it, Trevor. Damn.
He did put a ring on it, but now he's got a now. That would be Trevor. Maybe you and I don't know if I should. I don't know. I don't know if her name's public. Her name's on her Twitter, so I don't know if you and Vicky maybe like come and get married in Australia, and then like everyone can fly here.
I'm coming. I'm coming. Let's go. Let's go, Troy.
Fourth. I think there's like a fourth best man slot. Whatever.
Exactly.
My wife is a professional photographer, so we've traveled a couple times outside of country for her to shoot weddings and engagements. So I'm trying to convince them to hire her to shoot the wedding.
Yes.
I really am. Like I've been to see him before. That'd be awesome.
That would be. I would definitely go. I think we're going to put into existence to go to Australia. Who's going? Okay. Are we doing any market roundups for some of these degens? Somebody's asking for best place to mint BRC20s. I don't know. Do you guys answer some of these questions?
Best market to mint them.
You want me to go?
It really depends where they're dropping it. I don't think there's a best market unless that person's asking about where they want to deploy their own one. But I guess like best marketplace to mint them is only if you're like happy with that BRC and you want to mint that one, and like DY. Like I don't want to like give a diplomatic answer all the time, but I think it really is like find out about the BRC20. Do you like it? Is it a meme? What's the supply? What are the tokenomics like? And then go for it that way. I don't think like the marketplace matters as much as like being happy with whatever you're buying, whether that's a BRC20 or a PFP based ordinal or an art based ordinal. That just goes for like anything that you're buying in ordinals. When you press confirm, you're sending Bitcoin, so you need to be happy with that purchase and understand that potentially you make money, but potentially you won't. So, like I said, I didn't want to give a diplomatic answer, but I sincerely, that's like sincerely how I like to advise people. It's like, you go to Gamma, you want to find more art. You go to Magic Eden probably for the PFP trading. You go Unisat for the BRC stuff. Like there's somewhere for everywhere, but I think also in the end, whatever you're buying, you want to be happy with it. So it's not necessarily where you're buying, it's what you're buying. And that's probably like the better question. I don't know.
Awesome. And Chris, you have like a minute left, but two things quick. Chad just posted that he onboarded Thread Guy, got him to buy.
Yeah, he sent him a bunch of he sent him some, which is good. It's good to see Thread Guy set up a Bitcoin wallet. The ETH people I don't want to say the ETH people are falling because it's wrong. I think like both ecosystems are going to coexist. Like Witters said, you can be agnostic, but it's good to see some people being like, hold on a second, this thing's real. It's sort of like we're over a year old. It's established. There's quality infrastructure. There's quality wallets. We're not trading off spreadsheets anymore. Like it's a real thriving ecosystem. So I think they're starting to realize.
Yeah, and I just got off a call today with a huge agent who represents a Web3 artist, and I onboarded him because we were talking for the last few months about which top artists that want to come to Ordinals. And I said, no rush, but let me just give you a little whatever. And it's just bullish, and all the other, chains talking about inscriptions, AVAX inscriptions, Sol inscriptions. Transient Labs calls their mints inscriptions. It's just like, it's really important that we can all, it's not like, yes, steal our verbiage. Just like, no, we can thrive together. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw those things out there.
That cut at Miami that Thread Guy got during the basketball tournament must have really got to him. Those near-death experiences really change you. I guess that
they do. Everyone can attest to that. Everyone can attest to that.
You get like a little scratch, and your whole life is hinging in the middle.
My arm is bleeding.
He just got here. He's gonna leave. He's gonna see this video and leave.
I know. No,
all love.
I know it was a bad boo-boo.
Oh my Witters.
It was such a bad.
Witters is putting on her mum voice, but like, are you okay, Baba?
Baba.
Yeah.
No, but I do want to kind of like go back through like from Troy's question. So like our wallets, like Xverse, Leather, all of the like Unisat, OKX,
And Phantom to their
Phantom.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. Hell yeah, let's
that's
go.
massive.
Yeah.
They got a lot of users.
Yeah. And then going into just like I guess like Bitcoin Fi, I guess it would be the way to categorize that. It's like Liquidium, Ordiswap. I mean, there's actually a lot there.
And
Alex,
the Sats marketplaces as well. Yeah, Alex is really innovating. People should check them out. Shiente, who's their founder, she's an absolute beast and has like an amazing pedigree in traditional finance, and then to come across and build on Bitcoin. Yeah, she's one to watch. If you don't follow her @ is rule-based invest, or you can just type in CHIENTE, so Shiente, and she should come up. But she's a must follow for a lot of people, and like have a look at everything she posts, because she's a very, very, very powerful and smart person.
Exactly. That's what I was about to add. It's just like you get these like just take Troy, for example, like somebody that has made it outside of like just like Web3 in whatever like ecosystem that they've made it in. She is one of those as well that's like you have access to her in a way that you wouldn't have access to her at all in any kind of and a lot of that applies to different people, to different circumstances, to different companies. But because you are so early, and like within Alex, because not that many people know about Alex, like just being able to access that and have access to her is so huge. And I love just like women that are just like absolutely throat punching shit in the face.
What? No, I love that comparison. What's her handle? Just so I want to make sure that I grab it.
So, Brett, help me out. I don't know how to do it.
So @ rule-based invest.
Rule, like RUL?
Rule, RULE, based, BASED, invest. Because she wrote a book. I think that was the title. So I think she just went with that as her @
Yeah.
And Eli, I just wanted you to know, it wasn't on Gamma, but I minted Nodescapes on public mint today. There was 87 there was 20 left, and I knew it was going to get botted, but I minted and I got the confirmation ring in 1.5 minutes, and the art was in my wallet on Magic Eden. I'm just collectively here. I've never had that. I made a tweet about it. I was like,
so what happened was I saw that. What I assumed, I saw your tweet. What must have happened is that you essentially had your transaction confirmed like just before the block then confirmed. Sorry, do you know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
you had like the perfect flow of like enough of the block confirmed basically straight after your transaction went in. And then the transaction got picked up. So yeah, no, normally it's like, you wait and you kind of
exactly.
Okay, when's the block going to confirm? You got in. It's almost like the door was closing and then your transaction snuck in. Well done.
Yeah. No, I just was like bullish. Let's go. When is that going to happen again? And anyway,
enjoy that one. Doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen often. Yeah.
Well, that's the end of the hour. Yeah, we did have a few topics as well. We kind of mentioned which is completely fine. This is Bitcoin Ordinals banter. So what we do here is we banter, and we saw some awesome pieces. Heard from Troy Witters. Saw your art in Miami, which is amazing. So yeah, it's been a good night, and we did touch on the Bitcoin Ordinals, the inscriptions kind of like trickling down to other blockchains. That's been really crazy to watch. That like some proof of stake blockchains or some blockchains in general just like can't even like handle it. I know like Arbitrum had some trouble with it. ETH is just expensive as can be, but it was expensive before that. Avalanche is actually handling it decently well, but it's kind of causing controversy. So yeah, it's interesting seeing this new like inscription meta kind of sent to all these other blockchains and kind of Bitcoin leading the way in that. And just cool to see that Bitcoin Ordinals is really bringing. There was already, systems in place for DeFi on Bitcoin, but really this huge wave of DeFi being brought to Bitcoin through like the Ordinals movement is really cool. And then community, and Troy, I really love what you guys are doing too on that show, just how you're like together and then talking about like how you guys do things like even after the show, that sense of community that like what Witters mentioned earlier as well. So that's so cool, man.
Thank you, man. It's highly addictive, and I like doing the show with Boot. He's 21 years old. Like I talked like moldable. He was in Miami. He goes, look, here's me on the panel. I'm doing good, right? And I'm like, that means a lot to me because I don't really need the show to like. I have a life, you know what I mean. But I don't want the show is not about me. The show is about like I don't want to do it without you guys. I don't want to mint without my friends. I don't want to do Ordinals without my team. I don't want to play football, throw the ball to myself. And I just love like, you know, and when I'm around Boo and BitGod or Chad, it's just like youthful energy and I just, you know, it's exciting, man. Like
I love that.
Yeah. Troy, so. I did want to ask, like, Ordinals, what's happening right now with that?
We've since Amsterdam, I've curated like about 120 people that I've sort of met there in the ecosystem. We have a Galactic Pass airdrop that's happening, and those people have been selected, and they've been in our community, and so we're going to airdrop them to that. So we're expanding because we only have 269 out of both collections, and the first one is sub 8K, and the second one is sub it's like 40K to 100K, and so we wanted to like. Oh, because we have like Dingaling is a day one minter. We have, you know, some apes there. We have like Swicky and Lady Ape and Fundy and just a lot of really cool people. You know, Ordlord onboard the general and told him what to buy. You know, he didn't even shill Ordinals, and I guess at the end he probably did, and that guy swept. And so Ordlord is a banking finance like manager guy. He runs teams. Me and Dave are Hollywood people, although we understand trading and stuff like that. Maisie has a Web3 sports agency and a Web2 sports agency in Australia. So we just like are there to onboard and have fun. Like we've been trading together for 3 years and we invest together. We're from the Gutter Cat Gang, Meme Land, Kingpin DAO. And, you know, we just build that way and we're funny. And, you know, Dave is a man of action. He's very silent, but he's a tremendous editor and storyteller and director. And I do what I do. And I'm like sort of the mouth. Like I do the lore, but Dave has been taking care of that. So I just go, I'm out in the field, just being who I am. And we just love the project and we love IP and we do animation and we have connections in Hollywood to get it to like Web2 audiences and stuff like that. So the passes will drop. I can't say what's happening after that, but it's a lot of cool stuff, and we have a sexy sub 8K. So we're it's not like we're not working, but
you don't have to. You don't have to with sub 8K. You just don't need it.
I guess you could have a shitty sub 8K and not do anything and be a rug, but like we actually give a shit and I give a shit and so do they. And I just couldn't have the best team. Like we never fight and we all have our own little lanes and we support other projects. We buy, you know, I told Dave and Ordlord about OMB 3 months ago. So they bought 20 of them. Like I have calls at ZK go, look, this is who we are. You know, like I don't suck the dick of any founders or anything like that. Not that they're asking me to, but I'm just like, I'm a person. I have weight. I want to support the projects. Okay. I love emoji. Like I just support projects, buy projects. And it's kind of like, sort of a business transaction of just like, we're here to support. We're not like, hey, we're buying yours, so buy ours. It's just like, we're here to make some waves. We're going to bring some wallets to your project. We're going to bring some wallets to our project. We're going to bring some wallets and attention and artists to the space. And that's basically us in a nutshell, you know?
These nuts.
Oh, dude, the people thing was great. It was great.
That was so good.
Yeah, he's great. He's thinking about Ordinals, and I can't say what's going on there, but like, oh, Witters, you're an artist, and I don't know if Chris, I don't know if you're an artist or not, or Eli, you're an artist, right? I think, kind of. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. So here, I'm just saying collectively.
Not at all.
And for the space at large, if you have a party, Witters, and the fact that you're like drawing and you're at, you know, thing, if you have a party, do what Beeple does. You have the party, right? And then in the party, you have an event, and the event is watching him draw. right? And then if you do an airdrop, like physical airdrop, that's like the third event. So like on mint day, like if you're minting Femojis, right, or you're minting a project or Eli's project or whatever, on that day, if they've been waiting 6 months for this hype project, give them something else that day. That
Dude,
day.
that's
That
what I want
day.
to do in LA. It'll be the first time that I'll be painting in LA, and I want on mint day be painting and do like a whole thing. So
Got Butoshi and
so
stuff.
like watching artists process. I mean, not every artist wants to show their process, but like watching them do that, like watching him draw, like I'm just like, fuck yeah, like that's great, and it's mesmerizing. So and obviously you catalog your drawing, so that's kind of like the same thing. But I just think that's important, you know. Anyway, that's all I gotta say.
don't repeat that, even though I know I just said that completely
It's
on live.
We got it. We got it. We got it live for playbacks.
My bad.
Sweet.
This has been great, man. Thanks. See, even I was surprised. I thought this was going to be a regular Twitter space, and this is.
We go all out here, Troy. We go all out here. You're always welcome back. You were a joy tonight. I love that. Like you can tell that you have like a host in you or co-host because you're like got in the conversation. I'm like, Troy, you're our guest.
oh yeah, dude. I had a very it was a Turkish person. I used to have a popular podcast back in 2009 for 4 years. It was a music podcast, and we used to stream it live on Firewire. So like I'm just I'm a talkative person. I love music, and I just love. Yeah. So like I've been primed for kind of this stuff. So many more, and I usually do a space on the Ordinals space, but I didn't want to do one tonight because my mom goes to bed early, and I can take a couple weeks off from the Ordinals and spaces and stuff like that. And plus, I'm on your space, some other people's spaces is all good. Eli, it's great to finally like talk with you longer than an hour.
Ridiculous, given that we were in the same physical space, but that's life. Next time. Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure.
All right, Chris, Eli, take care. Witters, beautiful.
Thanks, everybody. You have a wonderful night. Everybody that commented, join in chat, watch. Thanks so much. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Share if you're on Twitter, and we'll see you guys Thursday at the exact same time. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30 Eastern time. I always get the ET and the